Today we have a 2017 Dodge Ram 1500 Bighorn with a 5.7 Hemi. The customer is saying that the front end's making a lot of noise. It's banging, clanking. They're kind of nervous about that. So we looked under there. We could see it was a sway bar link. So we're going to show you where that's located and how to replace it. We're going to start out by taking the tire off. It's either like a 7/8 or a 22 millimeter. The customer was saying how it was banging. You can see that this rubber is actually gone out of here. So on your sway bar, it's banging up and down. It sounds terrible, but it's nothing that's really dangerous. But we're gonna start with a 19 on the bottom, take that off, and hopefully it just spins off nice and easy. Okay, that's spinning, so we gotta put something on there. It looks like we could get a open-end wrench on that. Well, all we gotta do is put a 19. If you don't have that, you can put a pair of vice grips in there. That fits. 19 on the bottom. There we go. I have to switch to I can't get my big impact in there, so I'm switching to a small electric. And now the bottom here is a 16 right there, which is nice to grab. And we'll use the 16 on top. Just like that. Most of the time on a car, small SUVs or something like that, you can just take something and then pry this up and get this out. But a lot of times with trucks, you know, half-ton, three-quarter-ton, heavier vehicles, you actually have to take this bolt, these two bolts over here that are holding your sway bar, so you can get that out of there. This is your sway bar, of course, running across the front. And you got these holding it. These are 18. Now you do that like that, you should be able to wiggle this out after that. End up taking both bolts out, and now you can get that out of there like that, and we'll put the new one in. You do not have to replace both sides, you know, just the bad one. Sometimes you do both, but usually just replace the bad one. Make sure you get a better one that's got a Zerk fitted in it, so it's going to last longer. And now we're ready to install the new one. You're going to want to make sure that this Zerk fitting is sticking out so you can get at it nice and easy. Like I said, you want to buy a better unit that has a Zerk fitting. They last longer. This actually shows you how it's got to go, so all we have to do is take this off right here. Once this is slid up like this, you can see it's got a little lip where it goes into it. Same on there, it's got a little lip, it's gonna slide down in it. Make sure the washer's in place. We're gonna put our nut on. Just like that. So that's correct. Now we're gonna do the bottom. Just raise this up, slide that in. And all we gotta do is put the nut on that side. We started these by hand, so they're not going to cross thread. You want to make sure that the bushing's right where it's supposed to be. And then we're just going to snug these up before we tighten up the sway bar link. Sometimes when you put an aftermarket in, it might be a different size than the factory ones, which isn't a big deal. This happens to be an 18 on the bottom and a 19 right there. I trust my guns and stuff like that, but it still doesn't hurt to double check it like that. Okay, now we'll do the top one. We got the Zerk fitting out, which is nice. The bottom here is a 15 and it's out in the open, which is really nice. And we're gonna tighten this up with the top with a 15. So we're gonna just double check it by hand, which it's tight. But now you can see, like the old one, you didn't have both washers in there. That was what's making your noise. Now it should be nice and quiet. Last thing we're going to do, since it's up in the air, we're going to grease this, give it a good 6 or 7 squirts. And we're going to do that every 30,000 or so. You can see it's starting to bulge down here. It's just starting to come out. Stop right there. Put the tire on. We're going to put the lug nuts on, start them by hand. We're going to tighten them in a crossing pattern. That's all it takes to do a front sway bar link on a 2017 Dodge Ram 1500 with a 5.7 Hemi motor.